Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Amit Harari, and just before we start, I'd like to invite you to check out our new and improved website, where you can find all of our latest content and events from the heart of the State of Israel. So please check it out and subscribe to ILTV.tv. And now, coming up in today's newscast, Israeli leaders eulogizing religious Zionism spiritual leader Rabbi Chaim Druckman, who passed away at 90. And then the political puzzle is almost complete, yet one of Bibi Netanyahu's big challenges remaining, protecting the rights of the LGBTQ community. And finally, our international star abroad visiting the Holy Land, making some very interesting career decisions. We open with the sad news of the passing of Rabbi Chaim Druckman, the spiritual leader of the Religious Zionist movement. Rabbi Druckman was laid to rest today and was eulogized by many of Israel's leaders. We hear more from ILTV's Steve Leibovich.
Rabbi Chaim Druckman, the spiritual leader of political religious Zionism, has died at age 90. Rabbi Druckman was a founder of the Gush Emunim settlement movement and a major political influencer. He created the movement, which means the block of the believers. Druckman was laid to rest this afternoon in the southern community of Masoot Yitzchak. Rabbi Druckman was a protege of pre-state nationalist Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda Kook. A winner of the Israel Prize, he was a leading educator, creating a network of seminaries and yeshivot which combined religious study with military service. Over the years, Druckman was known for relatively liberal views on conversion to Judaism. He was best known for his hardline pro-settlement stance, including calling for religious soldiers to refuse orders to evict settlements. Earlier this month, Druckman became ill with COVID-19 for the second time. He was hospitalized and died at Hadassah Hospital in Ein Kerem. Druckman was quickly eulogized by the country's leading politicians and public figures. Referring to Druckman's death in biblical terms, Religious Zionism leader Bezalel Smotrich quoted Lamentations saying, "We have become orphans." President Isaac Herzog said, "The Torah of Israel, the people of Israel, and the land of Israel were his focus, hour after hour, day after day." Rabbi Druckman dedicated his life for the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
Now, joining us with more on the spiritual leader of Israel's religious Zionist sector and former lawmaker Rabbi Chaim Druckman is Israeli journalist Asaf Nissan. Hi, Asaf. Asaf, so for our viewers who didn't know Rabbi Chaim Druckman, maybe a blessed memory, what can you tell us about the man? What characterizes him?
Well, let me start off. We're talking about Rabbi Chaim Druckman, who was 90 years old. He's a Holocaust survivor, he's a spiritual leader, and he was also a Knesset member and even a deputy minister back in the Begin administration. Rabbi Chaim Druckman was pretty much a spiritual leader of the entire religious Zionist communities and stream in the Jewish faith. Basically, anyone like Smotrich, Bennett, from that range all the way to, I think, general Israeli population, pretty much saw as Rabbi Chaim Druckman as one of the spiritual leaders of the country.
And continuing on that, how and also how much did he really influence the religious world, but also more on this influence in general and on Israel?
His influence was felt all over, because we're talking about someone that later on became the head of the conversion method in Israel. So basically, a lot of the people who came into the country and became Jewish are pretty much owed by him. Also, all their gratitude to him. Let me rephrase myself. And also to the fact that we're seeing Rabbi Druckman also getting the Israel Award at 2011. Literally 10, 11 years ago, Rabbi Druckman received one of the highest national awards here in Israel to his recognition of his hard work.
So he clearly was very influential. What do you see happening now with such a large community, losing such an influential leader, and what are the current leaders now likely to do?
So it's interesting enough to ask, because we know that in addition to all, Rabbi Druckman is also a big effect on Bezalel Smotrich, the head of the Religious Zionist Party. So talking about what's going next, it's going to be hard, because I think Rabbi I think the biggest thing about Rabbi Druckman was his consensus to the people. There was one word to describe him. It was open-hearted to everyone. Anyone wanted to come. Anyone wanted to talk to him. He didn't discriminate anyone. I think for the public, especially the national religious Zionist public, it's a big loss, and it's hard to find someone who will lead them because each one today is so separate in a specific opinion. It's been a long time having someone so influential and so cross-sector throughout the entire religious community. So hopefully we'll see someone who will be able to fill his shoes, but it's going to be really hard.
Is there someone like this already? I mean, are there any names coming up, or will it take some more time?
I think it'll take some more time. We're seeing a lot of names coming up, but again, these names have been known. Some of them are connected to Tzol. Some of them are connected to more of the Smotrich and Ben Gvir stream of religious Zionism, so it's even harder to know exactly how that will be accepted by everyone. Finding someone who will be a consensus is always hard, especially in such a diverse community and stream of religious people. So hopefully will be found soon, but I know it'll take some time.
Asaf, and what would he say, or maybe he already did comment on the new government being formed these days?
I think he was happy with the new government that was formed. We know that he actually was the one who instructed Bezalel Smotrich not to give in and not to go to the Bennett government and not to agree on any decisions there. He kept it on the right. Bezalel pretty much viewed, and a lot of religious leaders viewed him as a spiritual leader, the same as Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, may rest in peace also. May his memory be a blessing. He was also one of the biggest leaders that affected Shas. So pretty much to parallel that, we have Rabbi Druckman, who was also pro-Netanyahu, and Netanyahu himself also in the funeral said he lost a close friend. So we know he was pro to the new government, and I think he would have been very happy with what's coming out to Israel.
May his memory be a blessing. Asaf Nisan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
The final countdown is underway for the formation of Benjamin Netanyahu's new government, and the new coalition may be formed as early as Thursday, with the January 2nd deadline fast approaching. ILTV Steve Leibovitz reports.
The new coalition is working overtime to make changes to Israel's basic law demanded by coalition partners ahead of the new government swearing in. Basic laws have an elevated legal status and are Israel's closest structures to a constitution. Those laws can be changed, however, by a simple 61 majority. One law being changed allows Religious Zionism leader Bezalel Smotrich to serve as an independent minister within the defense ministry. Another lowers fitness to serve in the cabinet by paving the way for Shas leader Aryeh Deri to head 2 ministries, despite a recent suspended sentence for tax fraud. Combined into one law, the changes are set for their second and third Knesset readings. The bill needs 61 votes to pass into law. Netanyahu's Likud-led coalition and his far-right and ultra-Orthodox partners control 64 out of 120 Knesset seats. Today's Knesset session began with a formal announcement that Netanyahu has managed to form a coalition. It's a technical move that triggers the start of a 7-day countdown to the January 2nd deadline for the new government to be sworn in.
And now to discuss the further new coalition puzzle, we're joined by member of the Likud Central Committee, Dor Harlap. Hi, Dor.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So we're all waiting to hear who will be the top Likud ministers in the new government. Do you have any inside information?
Yes, even though it's not that inside, many of the issues have been published around. First of all, I understand that Ron Dermer is not going to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. It's not going to be in the plan, which helping the other the people who got elected by the Likud's members to get better seats. So we know that Amir Ohana has a good chance of getting the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and we know that there is a huge fight, big fight between Netanyahu's will and Dudi Amsalem's behavior. Dudi Amsalem is saying that he's only willing to take a seat in the government only if he will get chairman